welcome to the age of AI search. And let's repeat a quick practical exercise that we got actually a few sessions ago as well. Very simple question for start. How many of you are using ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot? Yeah, I think everyone, almost, 99%. Okay, next question, next level. Who has bought something or chosen some service because of recommendations from ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, etc.? Few hands, yeah? So, okay, cool. Okay, let's remember this. So we had like maybe some 7% of audience, more or less, at the moment. Okay, let's remember this number. Okay, let's go further. For me personally, when I was working on this presentation, I realized that actually ChatGPT has influenced my life quite significantly lately when it comes to purchase decisions. I bought filters, new perfume, doggo, and actually food for my doggo because of recommendations from ChatGPT. And I need to say that's actually quite serious decisions, especially when it comes to dog breed. And I'm not alone. And Wall Street Journal says that 42% of consumers now use generative AI for shopping recommendations. Again, those who participated in Adobe presentation, they said 39, right? So actually pretty close when it comes to surveys. Here in the audience, we had around 7%, which is the truth. No? Hard to say, but definitely what we know that search behavior becomes more and more fragmented. So if previously 90% of us were, if we had any questions, we would go to Google. 4 to 8% would go to Bing to ask their questions. Now, it can be, so you remember morning session, TikTok. Yes, TikTok also is a new search engine. People ask questions there. They can go to same old Google, still a lot of visitors, a lot of questions are asked there. ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, etc. Reddit is currently a serious force on its own after making a contract with Google. And also we'll see later it's one of the top cited sources by ChatGPT actually. Instagram, Facebook groups. So in a nutshell, now while people have the same problems, the questions are more or less the same, but places where they ask those questions become more and more fragmented. Good for users, good for us, like for me, because I can get way easier answers when it comes which dog breed to choose. I go here. But from marketing perspective, it makes life more complicated because your potential customers are scattered all over the place. Plus, theoretically, I could go to ChatGPT, ask question there, and you might know that sometimes you might get a link there, and you could just click on link and end up as referral traffic. Or you might see the brand, you might copy the brand name, paste it into your Chrome or Edge, and trigger actually a brand search. So it's also very hard to understand what impact ChatGPT has at the moment. What we know based on our work with clients, that currently if you are speaking about e-commerce, then ChatGPT can be from 0.5% of the whole traffic share till some 2-3% for e-commerce. For B2C or for B2B, it might go as high as approximately 30% of traffic share. Because for B2B, it's extremely also convenient to use ChatGPT to ask some complex questions on what partner to choose for specific need. But at the same time, while for e-commerce, it's still relatively small referral traffic, but still brand searches, we cannot really track. At the same time, we know that LLM-driven traffic is rapidly growing. So for now, we see that more or less every 2-3 months, it's doubling. depending on the industry, depending on your visibility when it comes to LLMs. So it's growing rapidly. Another thing that we know, that it's converting, on average, 15% higher than website average, if we are looking at e-commerce. In our case, we analyzed 200 e-commerce stores from all around the world. And before that, it actually was converting worse. Now we see that it's converting better and better, which makes sense. Because again, people tend to build even kind of personal relationships with their ChatGPT and often trust the results. So if we assume that ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, et cetera, are new marketing channels, and that's something that we need to accept because we already see that for e-commerce, money is coming from there. You can track purchases from referral traffic. Then also interesting question is actually who is currently winning there? And actually what we did, we decided also to make first e-commerce, or in this case even Magento specific AI search leaderboard. And this first version is actually something very exclusive for Meet Magento New York attendees, because we took all the merchants that are currently in the event, created 20 real customer questions per industry. So according to industries, what people might be asking, theoretically potential customers, tracked visibility, sentiment, and how well you're ranking, and calculated the weighted scores for the final leaderboard. Sounds theoretical, but practically, what we did, we actually analyzed how visitors of Meet Magento New York are visible to their target audience at the moment. So these are top 5. But actually, if you are curious about your own company, you can actually go to this link here and explore. If you will have more questions, you can also later come to visit us and we can show the data behind it. But you can actually learn who is, can you be found at the moment? Are you visible in LLMs? And then another next logical question is, when you know who is there, who is on top, are you visible? Or maybe you're not visible. Maybe your visibility is 0 at the moment. Maybe it's 12%, maybe 80%. Question that often we get asked, can LLM results be influenced? And can you actually trust them as a customer as well yourself? Simple answer is that yes, results can be influenced. In practice, it depends. It depends, and we'll see how much it depends depending on which factors. And there are 3 things that we need to consider. Basically 3, I would say, layers how LLMs form their answers. And first, you might hear about training data. So that at a certain point, LLMs get fed with huge, massive, static information from different reputable sources. And it's not done constantly. It's done like at certain points. And basically, it's very, very hard to change. For example, it might be nearly impossible to convince LLMs that capital of Great Britain is Paris. Not something that you possibly can change. Even here is example. For example, also very practical from product perspective. LLMs are as smart that they know that for hiking, so for example, if I'm a customer and asking, hey, ChatGPT, please recommend me hiking boots. LLMs would understand, okay, hiking boots, they need to be comfortable, they need to be waterproof, they need to have some traction with surface. So if I would be selling cozy slippers, I wouldn't be able to convince LLMs that that's good for hiking. No, that's kind of common sense, but no, for LLMs it's also hard. If there would be, I don't know, huge budgets, no, maybe, but still it would be some error. So this is base, and we cannot really change it. But then, if you're looking at the ways how we can promote specifically our hiking boot brand, that's where we can start to influence results already. And actually increase our appearance of, again, ChatGPT, Perplexity, et cetera, I would say in some way is renaissance of digital PR. Why so? PR as a, let's say, discipline was somewhere probably not on the priority list for many years. But currently what we see that LLMs actually form their answers often based on information that is published on the internet in different listicles, forums, Reddit, and at least as we see it based on sources that LLMs use, that very often this type of best hiking shoes for men, 10 best gifts to gift on this Christmas, what should I wear as wedding guest, 10 dresses or 15 dresses that you would recommend me. Those things are really, really prioritized by LLMs. And that's directly, it's usually connected either with affiliate marketing or with PR. And by making sure that you appear in such places, you can actually affect results, what LLMs are showing. Last but not least, at the stage where customer is already choosing specific product through ChatGPT, your website is also extremely, extremely important. Because also when you would look at sources that LLMs are using, your own website most likely and your competitor websites would be appearing there. Sizes, prices, it all matters, and it should be, well, as for every channel, up to date, present there, and accessible for LLMs. So this is another thing that we can directly influence. And that's where we can speak about answer engine optimization. And it's funny in the way, because if you would look on LinkedIn or in some, I don't know, resources related to this visibility on LLMs, you might see there AIO, GEO, AEO, SXO. So like currently there is a war of acronyms on which would actually stand for AI visibility optimization. In a nutshell, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We call it answer engine optimization, but it can be like, call it AEO if that's how you feel. But in a nutshell, it's basically a discipline of increasing your brand visibility in LLMs. And now we will actually go through 6 practical steps on how to improve your visibility in LLMs. Simple way, something that you can do as homework in your office with your team, very straightforward. And first thing is to focus on LLM. And what we see at least for now, that ChatGPT leads with 91% of traffic. That's how much referral traffic we see incoming from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is like in SEO context, we usually speak about Google, and then somewhere there is Bing. So here we are speaking ChatGPT, and then somewhere Perplexity, somewhere Gemini. So ChatGPT is, I would say, if you want to focus on, ChatGPT would be the one. Next big thing, define target prompts. So what your potential customers might be asking to find out about you or about your competitors. How to form those prompts? You can use some data from SEO tools. Look at the keywords, because remember we were speaking that platforms might change, but problems, they stay the same. So most likely what they were interested in other platforms will be also interested to ask to ChatGPT. At the same time, obviously, they're super long-form questions, so you cannot track them all the potential variations, but you can look on the topic perspective. Sad part is that LLMs currently do not publish officially any information about search volumes. So we don't know how many people are searching. We can just assume which topics might be more popular. Next thing is to actually understand what is happening with traffic from LLMs, so how many people are coming to your website through LLMs. Which products are converting through LLMs? That's something you can find out using GA4. What is user behavior? How those users are behaving on the website? Is it the same? Is it different? And what is new that is appearing, that also you might see that there are quite a lot of tools as well that currently help you to track visibility in LLMs at a scale. That's something that I would also recommend to look at from the perspective that you might test yourself, that when you ask the same question to ChatGPT, you might get different answer each time. So if you do it from your own personal profile, work profile, that knows where you are working in, or the company where you are working, most likely you will get your company recommended quite often. Because like your ChatGPT knows you. It knows what you like. So it's better in the way either to look on some anonymous profiles or just use tools to look at scale. Then, and this is one of the coolest exercises, the simplest thing that you can do, and super powerful. Because, and the reason why I love to work with LLMs compared with Google SEO side. Why? Because we cannot go to Google and ask, hey Google, why I'm ranking on 10th position and not on the 2nd? No, you can ask it, but like nothing will happen. But on LLMs, you can actually have pretty meaningful conversation with ChatGPT asking, so, okay, you can see your competitors, and then you can ask, hey, but why my brand is not there? Or why not? It's not on the top position. And actually, we have run it multiple times at the scale. Results are really cool, actually. And you can learn something more about your company. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily who you are, but that's how LLMs perceive you based on information that is posted about you online. And that's something I'm recommending everyone to do, because you might find some cool things and cool ideas to look at, where you might look into marketing, look into PR, or maybe even in some product development. So that's very simple and very powerful thing. Another thing that is next step is to understand sources. Which sources LLMs are using to form results specifically in your industry. Here is data from SEMrush. It's from June 2025, and back then, you could see that here is Reddit, and it was mentioned as top cited source by LLMs on the internet. So there are some memes that basically, what OpenAI did, they basically are rephrasing some 8-year-old Reddit posts. Sometimes that's what happens still. Yeah, that's, on one hand it's good, on one hand it's sad, because Reddit can be, on one hand, brutally honest, and that's cool, but on the other hand, it can be very opinionated. So few opinions can form perspective on your brand. Since that, it's reported that Reddit has gone down in terms of being cited, but I would say that in practice it's still extremely important. What we see that LLMs is more or less combination of Reddit, Trustpilot, different listicles, forums, and communities from your industry. But what works specifically for you, that's something that you need just to see based on prompts that you're interested in. Because again, there might be very specific forums, there might be some local articles that might work for you, and where you need to get your brand placed to actually, again, increase visibility in LLMs. So, when you have this information, next step is to actually actionize it. And here, you actually won't see anything new, like something revolutionary. What you will see, what helps to increase your visibility? Wikipedia, publications, listicles, review platforms, forums, same Reddit. You need to see what's written about you. You need to see if you appear where it's needed, if sentiment is good about you. SEO helps as well, because LLMs eventually will go to your website and check information there. So what works for SEO works for LLMs as well. Social media also helps your brand visibility. Partnerships and collaborations. And different PR activities, because again, you will increase your brand mentions. That increases your chances of being mentioned. And this one is new. So actually, tracking and checking what's going on with your visibility and which things actually worked and contributed to it. And it's quite easy to track. And that's basically it. So there are like just 6 simple steps that you can use and check what's happening with you and how you can improve. And how we love to say that convenience always wins. And ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini are actually very convenient. Again, I have chose dog breed. My lovely puppy is because of ChatGPT. And it's here to stay. And if it's here to stay, it means that from marketing perspective, we also need to take that into account and adjust our marketing strategies. So if you will have any questions, I will be also downstairs later. And other than that, I would love to wish you good luck with LLMs, good luck with marketing there. It might change, it might be simpler, it might be difficult, but for now it's pretty straightforward. So good luck with that, and thank you for your attention.
If anyone has any questions as well, we have a couple minutes.
Do you know why Reddit is like so ranked high, like 40% of, because I see the same thing too, like why Reddit of all the sources?
Yeah. It's actually pretty cool, idea original. Reddit is, how many people are using here Reddit? Okay, so those who use, you know that it's brutally honest, sometimes harsh, and if you get too promotional, somehow you are like, oh, I tried this one, it was amazing, beautiful, and here you have coupon code. That's it, you probably will be downvoted, and you might be even blocked. So Google and LLMs consider that this is very well moderated, so opinions there are more trustful, so it's like community driven and less promotional, that's why.
It's kind of a controlled UGC.
Sorry?
Controlled UGC.
Yeah. So it's controlled, it's first of all, it's UGC, and that's prioritized, yeah. So also different forums also are quite highly rated by LLMs.
Any other questions? If not, find Lina after.
Yeah.
Be a good time
Okay.
to work and engage.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lina.